Good evening and welcome to Spectrum this evening on your Might 90 Radio 1. It's Monday, 4th of May, and we're going to go straight into many of the activities that actually happened over the week and the weekend. But again, we'll have to speed over to what has actually transpired in the now, some people have regarded it as controversial, but not yet as such, the protection of the National Sovereignty Bill. We are looking at what has actually transpired since last weekend, since last Friday, through the weekend to today. We're going to divulge into what is actually happening, what's new, what is the latest about this bill, and that's what we're going to discuss with our guests this evening. My name is Jude Bukenya. I'm sitting in for Kenneth Lukwago, and we are joined by a team of panelists here who are going to help to digest the issues as they've transpired through the week. I'm glad to report that Mr. Job Kaija has joined us, and he'll be making his way to the studio. We expect Dr. James Tweheyo from the NRM. He's a member of the Electoral Commission of the NRM and former member of the executive committee representing workers. He'll be joining us online. And it's Mr. Gilbert Olanya that is going to be online, and Mr. And our third guest will be joining us, Mr. Godbert Mushabe. Wow, you'll excuse my memory. He's already in the house, so we're going to look at the latest on the developments of the sovereignty bill ahead of discussions that are going to take place tomorrow in Parliament, or probably this week. If they're not through tonight, we hope by Wednesday the MPs will be through, and we shall be having the discussion go through. My guests will come to the show and allow us probably say a word or two as we introduce ourselves, so we could go into details of this topic. Mr. Godiba.
All right, thanks very much. Great pleasure to be here this evening. My name is Godbert Mushabe. I'm an associate director at the Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies. Very delighted to be here.
Wow. Mr. Kaija, Okaija, good to have you on the show this evening.
Thank you, sir. My name is Job Kija. I'm a governance researcher and human rights activist.
Wow. Mr. Tweheyo is joining us just shortly. He will say hello to our listeners, and then we shall see how to go. But anyway, controversially, the weekend saw some developments within this, the developments from Munyonyo, where the MPs are pitching camp to try and drive things home, because the country is waiting for the bill. Well, Mr. Tweheyo, say hello to our listeners, and then we can probably go into the details of this topic.
Good evening, listeners. Good evening, colleagues in the studio. I'm happy to meet my all-time friend, Godba.
The man is eating the gains alone.
You can never eat gains alone. In all cases, either way, willingly or unwillingly, I've shared it with others, but I'm happy to be around. Glad to meet you, comrade.
Wow. Okay, I'll start off with Mr. Is Mr. Olanya online already? Yes. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes, good to have you online.
Thank you so much, brother. I'm listening to you very clearly. Greetings to everyone listening to Radio 1. Good evening.
All right, let's get moving. Mr. Mushabe, I would probably want to start off with you. The bill is seemingly becoming more contentious, more controversial. Over the weekend, we had reports of various developments. But anyways, where do you see the bill as of now and the time we are planning to see it? What has changed, or what do you expect to be in the bill as we go forward now?
Well, I think substantially, just to discuss the context within which this legislation appears, excuse me, this proposed legislation needs to be seen in the context of the democratic reversals we have seen over the last almost 20 years. We have seen major amendments that have been focused on removing constitutional safeguards from the constitution, and in fact safeguards against a life president. The provisions relating to term limits, the provisions relating to age limits, the provisions relating to local government system were all intended to as pillars around which you can build a democracy.
Yes.
All those have been dismantled from the constitution. So essentially, you can say that this has been a systematic process to literally overthrow the constitution, and that's what has happened over the years.
That's your reading.
Absolutely, that's
okay.
my reading.
Yeah.
So the consensus of 1995, where Ugandans spent, I think we spent like 4 years under the being facilitated by one of the eminent Ugandans, Justice Sodochi, and who was the chairman of the Constitutional Commission.
Yeah.
We spent 4 years discussing our history, the kinds of challenges we had gone through, the violence, the human rights abuses.
So it was sovereignty in an envelope then.
Yeah, reaching a consensus on how we could be governed. And sometimes you can even say that the 1995 constitution was not a perfect constitution, but it was a minimum consensus that could be achieved at that time. And one of the important provisions in that constitution is the declaration in Article 1 that power belongs to the people. That is the fundamental, the foundation of the 1995 constitution is power belongs to the people. Now, over the years, we've seen the parliament basically vest itself with authority to dismantle that constitutional architecture, and which they have successfully done, and then a continuous shift of that power from the people to the different organs of the state. The parliament has basically become a corruption machinery, where everything is done as a transaction. That's where you've seen how the regime pays money to MPs to be able to.
It's the operation table.
Yeah, right from the 5 million that was paid to remove the term limits, that now the price has been going up and up and up. But this particular legislation, the Protection of Sovereignty Bill, as they call it, has to be considered in the context of the UPDF Amendment Act. Because the UPDF Amendment Act, which was passed last year, was a very methodical process of removing judicial power from the people and vest it in the military. So for the first time in our history, you have the military being given authority to try civilians. By the way, Ugandans do not understand that bill, that law itself. That bill, the law, the UPDF Act, actually even establishes a legal department of the UPDF and vests it with powers that are almost equivalent to those of the Attorney General. So in other words, while it's perfectly fine for any army to have a legal department, those legal departments are normally best focused on how to make sure that the military does not violate the law, and then it also deals with the trial of military officers.
So in a nutshell?
So in a nutshell, the UPDF Act basically usurped judicial power from the people, vested it in the military, and now the so-called Protection of Sovereignty Bill is the last nail in Article 1 of the Constitution, where essentially the power that was...
It's a substitute to Article 1?
It's not. It can't be a substitute, because there is nothing that can substitute Article 1. All you can do is to overthrow and steal that power from the people, and that's how Ugandans need to understand this.
Well, thank you, Mr. Godbert Mushabe, for your input into this. I'll go to Mr. Job Keja. I know you must have spent the weekend observing from all corners what the developments from Munyonyo, where the MPs are pitching camp to process the bill to the final stage are. What are you learning of late from that side?
Well, I think for me, consistent with Godbert's submission, we need to interrogate even the role of the military in this particular piece of legislation. besides the UPDF amendment bill.
Yeah.
Because, act. We know for a fact that the military was deployed yesterday at the retreat where the MPs were debating this bill from. And tomorrow we have heard that they will also be deployed in Parliament. And of course, going by past precedents, we know what it means when the military is deployed. The military, you remember during the removal of presidential
What prompted the deployment? Probably what you're learning. What prompted the deployment?
Well, of course, it was the rigging of the committee process. Because as far as we know, that on day one of the retreat, which was on Saturday, they discussed only one clause, which they didn't conclude, which was basically the interpretations. And there was a lot of disagreement. So I think based on that disagreement and considering the fact that the regime has been pushing this bill through a very rushed process, they then probably decided to mobilize the military, but also because of the evil process that they were trying to use to circumvent the entire committee process. What happened yesterday, from what we understand, and I think Honorable Gilbert Olanya even gave us a recording on that, explaining what had happened, is that the amendments, which was, first of all, this bill has been amended 4 times.
Yes.
There's been 4 different versions.
Yes. The list is
which
after
itself,
the president's
yes,
orders or message.
Even before there had been, because as we've been following it and analyzing it, so we've looked at 4 different pieces of this bill. And so the contention was that whether this was a new bill, and which in effect required its own certificate of financial implications, but also needed to be retabled formally through Parliament for first reading, or they were going by the old bill which was gazetted. Okay?
Yes.
So now, what happened is that the committee chair came, and I think Honorable Fox Odo is the one that moved the motion that the new bill, which has no certificate of financial implication, it has not been subjected to public hearings, it has not been gazetted, it's not even available on the parliamentary website. Anyway, even the old bill is not there. So he came and moved the motion that bill is adopted as is. And of course, a lot could have happened. You know how parliamentary business is conducted in this country.
Yes.
The people in the committee voted, not overwhelmingly really, but they voted to support Fox's
position.
And now when they went to the debate even didn't happen, because the idea was that you go clause by clause, you debate
as you digest through.
Yes. So what happened also is that the chairperson just read each of the clauses and they passed them. So
Omnibus.
the deployment, yes, omnibus. So the deployment of the military was to intimidate the members, because at some point, some of the members, especially that were opposed to the abuse of the procedure, actually had, I think, some sort of exchange with the chairperson. And you could have seen a clip where Honorable Jonathan Odur was actually trying to challenge the chairperson, and the chairperson tried to fight back. So it was basically violent. So you see, the fact that you can even have a chairperson who doesn't respect fellow members, but who just really abuses the process, and I think it is the same manner that has been used even on the floor of Parliament. Probably it's also what we should expect tomorrow. So for me, the point is that there's a lot of militarism that is littered all over this bill, and even when you try to dig in and establish why has this bill been introduced, who is the initiator, we've actually learned that there are some military men that are behind this whole bill. So this, I think, for me, is another UPDF act that we have.
You seem to be probably in affirmative with what Mr. Tumushaba has said, but Mr. Tuyo, let me first turn to Honorable Gilbert Olanya and see probably he's in. Honorable Olanya, I would want to hear from you.
We can even leave James because he must be the author.
Is he militaristic?
James is not a soldier.
Yes.
No, I saw him in uniform in combat.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
That's induction material. Yeah. Anyways, I want to go to Honorable Gilbert Olanya. I want to just ask him, why are they seeming to why is Parliament seeming to be in a lot of rush? Why is the bill moving probably without even safety guards to an extent that we are now having the army and all other people interfering? Honorable Olanya, could you just elaborate to us why then are we like that?
Thank you so much, my brother. Greetings to everyone in the studio. the question that you asked one of my brothers, you should have asked me that question. We have been in Munyonyo. We reported in Munyonyo on Friday.
I'm coming to you on that.
And until today, when we left Munyonyo. I have been in the system throughout and following all what is going on. You recall when the Right Honorable Speaker referred the Protection of Sovereignty Bill to the Committee of Legal and Defense. I sit in the Committee of Defense. And when we reached Munyonyo on Saturday morning, honorable members of Parliament raised the concern about the letter written by His Excellency the President Yoweri Museveni. You remember President Yoweri Museveni wrote the letter saying that the bill which is on table is different from the bill that he initiated. Therefore, honorable members wanted to understand from the chairperson of the committee. And we asked the chairperson of the committee to explain what they discussed with the president and to give us the new bill introduced by His Excellency the President. And when members really wanted to find out exactly, the chairperson of the committee became very stubborn. They refused to disclose to members of Parliament what they discussed with the President. You remember the President said that he spoke to the government chief whip, Amson Obua, and to the two chairpersons of the committee. We wanted to understand first what they spoke. And also, according to the parliamentary rule of procedures, when the new substantial bill is introduced, that bill needs to go through the same process. And if His Excellency the President introduced the new bill, that bill should have gone for the first reading on the floor of Parliament. Then after the first reading, we go to the same process of the entities or community engagement, whereby the two chairpersons refused. The second issue is when we were inviting the entities to meet them in Parliament, in total, 53 entities came to Parliament, including Bank of Uganda, the NGOs, the religious leaders. In total, there were 53. Out of the 53, only 2 entities were in support of this bill. 51 entities, including Governor of Bank of Uganda, they were explaining to Ugandans that this bill is not wanted. The moment the bill is passed, it's going to disorganize Uganda economically. It means more than 98% of Ugandans are not in for this bill. Only 2% were in for this bill. Then now, what really brought controversy? We now ask the chairperson of the committee that please let us respect the views of Ugandans. If all the entities are saying this bill is bad for the economy of this country, why not to withdraw this bill? And we ask the Speaker of Parliament to table again the bill initiated by His Excellency the President. Then we follow the due process. From there, our chairperson became very stubborn. They told the committee members that for them they are under strict instruction that the committee must pass this bill, they must sign the bill, and on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, Parliament must discuss and pass this bill because the President is waiting to append his signature on this bill. So when they told us so, Honorable Du Jonathan caused some chaos and the House became rowdy. And then when we were in the House, just less than 20 minutes, we saw the security personnel arriving in Munyonyo, and they had to surround the building where we were. The police of Uganda, the UPDS, and the SFC. They came, they sat there, and even today, when we were leaving Munyonyo, we left them there. Following your question, that's why I rushed. My brother, in this country, I think the Almighty God to merely come and save us. According to parliamentary rule of procedure, the bill is supposed to take 45 days with the committee. But this bill was given to us less than 2 weeks. And they are rushing us. They wanted this bill to be passed immediately. So to me, I really feel the government and the proponent of this bill, they are only looking at the political part of this bill. They are not knowing that the effect of politics is less than 5%. If we pass this bill the way it is, the impact in the economy can be more than 95%. Because for Sampson is only focused on the political leaders. Right now they are looking at Bobby Wine, who is out of the country. They think that Bobby Wine is mobilizing huge amount of money, and they wanted by the time he will arrive in Uganda, he will come when the law is in place. Then they do what they wish, which is very wrong. When we are making the law must not take it as individuals. We need to make the law for this country. That is what happened in Munyonyo, and that is how I can answer why a rush, as you asked, my brother.
Okay, as we plan to go for an advert break in just a few minutes, I may need also to ask you, Honorable Gilbert Oulanyah, by the look of what has happened, do we still have the spirit of the law intact? The reading seems to be different from you. Is the spirit of the bill still intact?
What we have now as the opposition members of parliament, yesterday after voting, when Fox Odoye moved the motion, when we voted, 11 of us voted against it. The 24 members of parliament voted in support because they belong to NRM, and there were other people who are talking to them. So we don't know what message was given to them. But I would like to say that as opposition, we are writing the minority report, and our minority report is ready. Tomorrow, as they present the main report, and we are also going to present our minority report. I'm telling you that we are very strong, even if we are few, but we are representing the views of Ugandans. For them, they are representing the view of few individuals who are targeting few individuals.
Thank you, Honorable Gilbert Oulanyah. He's online from Munyonyo, where they've been writing a report for the committee. Actually, it's a joint committee of legal and defense, and then defense and internal affairs. Anyways, let me go for an advert break. When we return, we want to probe further with Mr. Tweheyo. There are some questions that probably, as the protectors of the gains now, something seems to be drifting, as far as Mr. Godiba said. There's a drift, super one, that we need.
He's eating all the gains alone.
Then we shall have to probe that. Back to you after this advert break. Thank you. Spectrum, welcome back from the advert break. In studios, we have Mr. Godbert Mushabe. He's a pundit on governance and other issues that affect this country. Mr. Job Keja, he's been neatly and smartly following this bill, protection of sovereignty bill, from probably the day it was first read and up to today. He's been furnishing us with developments. Mr. Tweheyo is a member of the NRM. He's another pundit on this on various platforms, including Spectrum. Well, as we left for the ad break,
yes,
your two brothers seem to be not satisfied with the direction the bill is taking.
Like
first,
many others.
First version, reading financial and political.
Yes.
President comes in and says, leave the financial bit out of the thing. Now we remain with a political one to say, or security one. But again, committees deliberating, it seems the bill has not changed because there was no due process followed from the August House. Where are we headed to?
Well, personally, I would be interested in the following of the due process. But even if the due process was followed, the biggest question is, would still this bill be acceptable and seen in the eyes of all people that is justified and good for everybody? You see, that's what my colleagues are saying. The thing is, follow the due process even if you want to. But would that make the bill acceptable? Would it fill the gap for which it is intended? Let's quickly look what is usually the intent and the purpose of drafting a bill or a law.
To cure something.
Yes, absolutely. To either cure something, or to look at some societal behavior which needs to be controlled, or to maybe fill a gap that's left by another bill or another law, so that anything that comes to society is not only good for society but palatable for the same society. Sometimes may not be so palatable but good for the society. So what is this bill then?
Can it be palatable and same time not good?
Yes.
You're swallowing.
No. Once they say this is the medicine for your sickness, it may be bitter, but it may be the same medicine that will cure you. So let's look at the bill in itself. The bill has its own issues, as even indicated by the president, as indicated by all the other bodies that came to parliament. It doesn't mean that the intention of the bill was necessarily to hurt the society. No. It is, as always the law is drafted, intended to cure something, to cure some society behavior, to cure some conduct. And therefore, if this country is to be seen as suggested in the bill, then a number of things need to be done. Possibly what we should look at now are, what are these ingredients in the bill that we think are injuring the society which the bill is intending to cure? Many of these have made a mention.
And probably those were the ones raised by committee members.
Not only committee members, by the way, but even these who were invited the committee.
Because scrutiny of clauses one by one would probably have lessened the damage that we're probably experiencing at this moment.
Does that guarantee you that the members of parliament in the committee have the full capacity and potential to scrutinize and understand and put it in the context of the society and all that? God will tell you, maybe these ones can act
the interface with the committee.
The issue is 53 entities interface with the committee. They are clearly known. These 53 entities raised concerns. Some of the concerns can be clearly traced. One of the concerns is that the limit that is put on the cap, we call it a cap, on the money that are expected to come into the country for any purpose, 400 million. Without authorization. That's one of them. But also now, what effect does it bring the society? If it is intended to cure something, in its intention to cure, are we using a hammer to hit a fly? That should be the first question. So if we are using a hammer to hit the fly and the hammer is going to hit the wall and collapse the house in which you are seated, then you'd rather not use the hammer. That's the most important element. So if the 400 million we're talking about is going to hurt, one, the civil societies, two, to hurt the people, our own people. By the way, remember, even following the labor fraternity, to hurt our own people who go outside the country, not only to work for their own labor because they failed to get their labor areas here, but also maybe have had an opportunity there, cannot repatriate their money here. Whereas MTN, any other organ, can repatriate their money to South Africa, to China, to where. For us, our own people will not be able to repatriate funds to bring it back home. This will not only affect our own people, the relatives and friends and all of that, it will also hurt the economy as indicated by the Government Bank of Uganda. So what then should be done? So that's where now I come to the process and procedures which my colleagues were talking about. But that does not invalidate the fact that perhaps this bill is necessary. So if you go to procedures per se, and you forget the intent and purpose of the law, but you also forget the flaws that are found within this particular law, then we would have missed the point. So I would agree with them at a point, but in many other cases I would say, no, let's not say omnibus that is not necessary. Because any law that is structured
but omnibus manifested itself when the committee chairperson became so defiant and they could not accommodate the views of even its own, his own members.
May be right, may be wrong, may be erratic as a person, because he's one member of parliament who we can say is right, who can say is wrong. And by the way, he can make a mistake like any other, because we have even seen some other laws.
Actually, committee chairpersons.
We have seen some other laws go to parliament. They are the members of parliament make an appeal, and they are appealed and called back. The other day, we had this UPDF Act, wasn't it recalled? The other day, we had the anti-homosexual bill, wasn't it? And by the way, if you look at the characteristic and manner in which the other two bills were passed,
yes,
it is almost related to this particular one because of the contention.
This one is actually worse because this is the first bill where the owner of the bill has actually also submitted a memorandum criticizing it, because the letter by the president, and in fact the president was the most critical of this bill, more than anyone
his
else.
submission was too heavy.
His submission was too heavy.
So why do you say it is worse? When even the owner of the bill, after looking at what this was submitted, after looking at what this was submitted, said, no, I think there are gaps which need to be corrected in this particular bill, if this bill is to be passed.
And that has not been accommodated by
the problem
the
now is, what is the intent and purpose of these committee chairpersons and others? What is the rush to this particular end? One of the justifications for the rush is that Parliament is about to close.
But there's another Parliament coming.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Parliament is going to end. This particular Parliament.
Yes, as Cabinet has ended today, probably.
Yes, this particular Parliament is about to close. Perhaps the zealous in a point
to deliver something.
They want to deliver something at the end and get it done. That could be one of the justifications. But the other issue is, these people could have their own intentions, could have their own justifications, but they cannot put it now to the sponsor and owner of the bill, because the owner of the bill has put it very clear. His Excellency the President has put his views very clearly, and I think most of these people agree with what he put. So
What do you agree
you
with?
agree, we don't agree.
You don't agree?
I do.
Me, I also don't.
Yeah. You agree.
But you're excited that he did.
No, I'm not excited. I'm actually annoyed that
What annoys you?
that our country can be run in such a manner.
What annoys
This is
you?
so shabby.
No.
If the president was serious,
yes.
if the president was serious, he should have instructed his minister to withdraw the bill.
Exactly.
The Attorney General actually was there.
Not the minister and the Attorney General.
You
Because
can't-
I'm actually told
Yes.
You can't
that
expect-
on Thursday when the minister and the Attorney General went
Met.
to appear
Yes.
before the committee, they first had a disagreement on which version of the bill. The Attorney General came
with another version.
They had distributed the bill the previous night. The Attorney General came with another bill.
Another
and
bill.
then they took 2 hours because the committee sitting was supposed to start at 10.
And who was
It started at
distributing?
midday, where they were reconciling the difference between the minister and the Attorney General. So the chairperson, instead of first chairing the meeting, he had to first go and mediate between the minister and the Attorney General over which version of the bill should now be used.
In this case, you can't hold it on the president, because the president has put his
Yes.
views.
He can
He
fire
has
these
put,
people.
he has put his,
Let him come to me,
he
Mr.
has put
Tuhia.
his views very clearly, but also
Yeah.
he can't be a president, appoint ministers and attorney generals and be the one to do their job.
Let him
Let
fire
them
them.
equally do their job.
Spectrum on Radio 1, thank you for listening in. Mr. James Tweheyo, Doctor, Mr. Arnold, Job Kija, and Mr. Goodbert Mushabe. Honorable Gilbert Olanya is online. Probably he will have his hit in a while. Let me get to Mr. Godba here. You seem to be burning with something.
No, because I am seeing
The gains are getting
I am seeing how
through.
James is talking about James is talking about this thing so casually.
Yes.
And it's no, the way you're talking about this is the president did this and what. It's so frightening. Eh?
The concern is the deviations, probably,
No, look.
at all points.
First of all, whoever has been involved in writing this law,
Yes,
many of them are probably our colleagues.
of course.
Some of them could even be my students. So for me, the first frightening thing is that you have those people write a bill like the one that was presented in the parliament. That's frightening. But more so, that they wrote a bill and it was debated probably at ministry level. Then it went to maybe the Attorney General had to make input as a legal advice of government. Then it went first parliamentary council. Then it went to a movement caucus. Then it went to cabinet, and that it came out this way. You have to be worried about this country.
Yeah.
That these same people are the ones that are running our country.
And they are the ones you have trained.
Yes, I mean, if I meet them, I don't know whether they would remain with their degrees because it's inconceivable. It's inconceivable. And then the president, I don't know why the president likes doing these kinds of things, because you see, I keep on telling people, a president is a president.
Of course.
A president, you are not supposed to be there crying like you are helpless. You are the one who is the head of a cabinet. These are your ministers. Instead of coming to the public and complaining like an NGO activist.
He was selling the Bazukulu.
Yeah?
The president behaves like the leader of opposition.
Exactly. It's almost actually that letter would have been properly qualified to be written by the leader of opposition.
Yes.
So the president, when he opposes something, he opposes it and he puts it clearly.
No, you see,
so he doesn't have to be
James,
actually, his concern is
your opposition as a president is in your cabinet. You don't come to the public to debate a bill,
but of course
that your government presented.
Maybe
what happened when they bring a different version?
So no wait. First of all, if I'm the president, James, and you are my minister, and you present a bill that I did not authorize, you are fired instantly. Yeah. There is no room for maneuver. That's what the president is supposed to do. As a president, you can't go to the public and start complaining and writing letters, because that's not how you should run as a country.
You have to make a clear discussion.
No. So secondly,
actually,
you just fight who? When you were appointing, you never asked anybody. So you're asking who?
Probably what I could be reading.
Some of the people from the president's home yard in Ankole suggested that the person who wrote this bill should be tried for treason.
Yeah, no.
As they appeared before the committee?
No, online it's there.
Social media.
Consultation, actually, consultation.
Yes.
The country.
Because if you are the
proposal, they should try.
If you are the president and you authorize the bill,
the reading
then
probably could be is
bill.
because cabinet is also closing. Maybe he wanted to catch up with time.
Who?
This was the last sitting of cabinet today.
But
the next week is swearing.
Uganda is not going to end today. Uganda is not going to. But secondly, I think I wanted just to impress this point about, to our listeners, that leave alone now the shabbiness of how they process the bill to Parliament.
Yes,
it's inconceivable that a Parliament can receive a bill that was published in the Gazette and mandate the committee to go and discuss it, and then you go in the committee and start amending the bill. In the committee, you discuss the bill that was assigned to you.
Yes.
Everything else comes as a report of the committee.
Yeah.
You go to Parliament and start amending.
Yes.
But this level of sharpness, James, I don't know how a group that calls itself a party, running a country for 40 years, and then you just operate like a mafia gang. Because how do you bring people to go to a committee and start amending a bill which was never presented?
Someone owned the bill.
Yeah.
You were told. As you conclude, Mr. Godba, as you conclude, just in a few minutes, in a second, wrap up that point, and then I want to go to Honorable Line.
Yeah. So essentially, first of all, I would say, even if you left the contents of the bill alone, let's say the contents are so bad.
Yes.
Or now Chwan Kachigwa has come in with his maneuvering and maybe she has made it good. The mere process of getting this bill to cabinet and to Parliament and moving it from Parliament to committee and then going to the committee and behaving like you are like a Marwa group discussing an important legislation. If Ugandan Parliament,
those are your MPs.
If Ugandan Parliament considered itself to be a very important institution as conceived under the Constitution, this is a law that they would never debate.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Tumushabe Godba. Honorable Lanya, I want to come to you. I know we only have about 15 minutes to 8. As we go ahead, we may not have the messages come through. My system seems to be down and I can't have your input. Honorable Lanya, I would want to get your reading about debate tomorrow and how probably you're prepared. There are some fears that the minority report may not probably take the floor as you much anticipated. What's your reading?
Thank you so much. My expectation tomorrow, as the opposition, we are ready to go and debate on the floor of Parliament. We are preparing about 10 minority reports. We have agreed in such a manner
How many?
that about 10 members who are writing the minority report. Because our rule of procedures in Parliament accommodate even 100 minority reports. So we agreed as opposition, we are going to present about 10 minority reports, and we pray that the Right Honourable Speaker should give us time to present all the minority reports. And what I look at it, the mood now on the ground, it is unfortunate that many of our colleagues who lost the election are going to participate actively in passing of this very important bill. And I would like to also tell you that it is quite unfortunate that yesterday we also witnessed other opposition members of Parliament who lost the election also voting for this bill. So this is a signal that about the 290 members of Parliament who lost in this election, many of them, they are now having no hope of coming back. I feel some of them, they now want to please the appointing officer purposely, since they may not be in Parliament. They want to catch his eye so that in case of any appointment, they will be supported. Also, the chairperson for legal and parliamentary affairs, Honorable Baka, he lost the election. That is why he was behaving in a very weird manner. You know, once you are no longer in Parliament, for him, he wants to catch the eyes of the appointing authority, that's the president. That in case of anything, he may be appointed a minister or given a job. And the situation we are in right now is quite tricky because we are dealing with people who lost the election. And someone who lost the election, he may go for anything. Very, very small amount of money will be given to members. You find them getting the money and voting in for the bill. But all in all is not lost. We are very confident that tomorrow we shall put our case very clearly in the Parliament of Uganda. And I pray that Ugandans should take. And in case they insist and they pass the bill the way it is, I call upon Ugandans, let us organize our lawyers. We shall take Parliament to court. And I know if it moves to court, this law shall be passed off. That's what I think.
Thank you, Honorable Anya, for your input. Probably I will let you off the hook. I can drop the line now and probably get the summary from the Mr. Tumushabe, Mr. Kija, and Honorable Tweheo. Well, Mr. Kija, the Honorable MP has said the reading of the game seems to be a rugby cruise ahead of tomorrow's parliamentary sitting. Two versions. Many of the MPs are probably serving their last days of the 11th Parliament. The mood itself seems to be already upbeat. I don't know, as people have been keenly following this bill, the process, what do you read?
You see, I wrote a letter to these MPs, of the members of the 11th Parliament, and I was telling them that they are likely to be the first victims of this bill. Because you see, first of all, majority of them lost. I think 58% lost.
Yes, especially on the legal committee.
Yeah, in both committees, they lost. 58% of the MPs lost. They are getting back to the streets. What does that mean? That they are either going to come on look for jobs in NGOs, CBOs. They have international consultancy. Some of them are lawyers, others are auditors. What does that mean? That they have to register as foreign agents. That is the starting point. Number two,
they never foresaw this.
I don't know that they had the capacity to do so. But anyway, I wrote that letter to help them really understand what the consequences are, and I laid all of them down. The members that are remaining in this parliament, they are also affected by the way. Let them not think that for us, considering that we are now in, we are not affected. Why? Because even if you say this law is targeting NGOs, of course, it is going to muzzle NGOs. We know that. NGOs are filling up gaps that are left by the inefficiencies of government in terms of service delivery, etc. Now, what happens is that when these NGOs are not there, services will no longer be delivered.
Of course.
So the burden now is going to be on the members of Parliament to deliver these services to their voters
on a daily basis.
On a daily basis. So there are a number of consequences for them as they get into the debate tomorrow, whatever. We understand there's a caucus meeting tomorrow at 8:30. I think, is it 8:30 or 9:30? Of course, again, the reason for this is to rig the process, the parliamentary process. So that's what really we expect. The whole.
And I had Hamson Obu also speaking like Baka.
No
difference at all.
He also lost.
He also lost.
He's trying to show his importance. So the point for me is that this process was rigged from the beginning. It has been the whole law is a fraud. The manner in which it has been processed, of course, if you look at the text right now, by the way, it also has a number of inconsistencies. It is not clear what this law is saying.
Yes.
Yeah, so it has so many contradictions. It's a product of very poor legal drafting. It has so many inconsistencies. It is touching so many other laws. So this thing has to be thrown away. I think it really looks
Does
too
this
bad.
parliament probably have that audacity to throw away this bill?
No, of course, this parliament, considering the manner in which it is led, first of all, because you know the quality of its leadership, but also you know the quality of the members in there.
Yes.
You saw the quality of the committee process. I mean, they did a fantastic job by conducting public hearings.
Yes.
In fact, I have a report here, which is a summary of what transpired in terms of the public hearings, which was the document that was supposed to guide the committee retreat.
The report writing.
Yes. But what they did is that they set it aside and then just adopted something which was imposed on them by the Attorney General. So that shows you how corrupt the process has been. So this law is actually a fraud. It's a fraud.
So besides that, any options of a legal process going forward? If we continue like we are?
Of course, and I've talked to even ministers and told them, this thing actually, if you look at it, even this current version, it breaches the constitution on so many
grounds. Yeah.
And they said, yeah, we are aware. So I think on one of the talk shows, Bariomosi told me that I should go to the Constitutional Court and challenge the law before it is made passed. So I asked him, why are you wasting our time? Because this bill has taken a lot of time, parliamentary time. These people are when we were in the committee sitting for the public hearing, the speaker sent a message that she lacked quorum on the floor. And so asked the members who were listening to us, citizens had come from all over the country, from Ankole, Acholi, Karamoja, to come and make their submissions before the committee, on the invitation of the committee. But the speaker sent a message saying, please, I need quorum, so make sure the members come. And they wanted to hold the process. And we protested, of course. So clearly you can see the manner in which it has been.
Thank you, Mr. Job Kija from IDEA. Wow. The submission is making Mr. Tweheo feel uncomfortable. I don't know why. Mr. Godiba will do the wrapping for me. Dr. Tweheo.
Whereas it is true that there are some flaws within this bill,
yes,
the fact still remains that there's some element of necessity in it, because the intention is to control behavior, to control a number of things.
Number two, we run out of time to accommodate them.
The other issue is these flaws need to be corrected.
Good.
And who can correct them?
Yes.
What are the flaws?
I have put it very clearly. I've said it may injure the economy, it will affect the NGOs and the NGOs world and civil world. They are clear, they are known.
Okay.
Yes. So it is important that our members of parliament understand the dynamics. They are the ones who invited the members. I think it was a good process in that case up to that level, where they listened and got information. It was also quite good that His Excellency the President looked at it and gave his guidance.
So you are saying he had not looked at it?
Well, he had. Yes, but after listening, by the way,
the way the president raised it, he indicated that he had a lot of noise.
After listening, he took trouble to have a second look, and he found there were issues. And then the issue now comes to the committees and the parliament itself.
We will have to test that
need
tomorrow.
to test that, test the waters, and see if these people who were elected are doing a good job. He made a point, made a point that perhaps the major reason why some of them, I don't want to say all of them, why some of them behave in the way they behave is because they're looking for favors. Yes and no, it may be possible. It may not be possible.
We are running out of time. To Mr. Godiba, about a minute and a half.
No, just
to-
three quick points. The
Yes.
first one, actually, is should that the president needs to learn to respect Ugandans, because he has reduced everybody to his muzukuru, the people who spoke before the committee. They are not all his muzukuru. We are professionals. We are adults. We are here in our own right as citizens, and the people speak to the issues that they know. So for the president to write a letter and say he's hearing noise, kerere, whatever, that's being disrespectful, and it's unpresidential, and he loses nothing by counting Ugandans clever and also respect them for their opinions, even when he disagrees with them. Number two, this NRM group, James, it needs to stop running this country as a mob. Because what it's doing is mobocracy.
Mobocracy.
Yeah, you go there, you know the parliament is ending, the session is ending, you run around, draft a law, a bad law at that, come and bamboozle it through parliament, run it to the committee, then the Chiwanu Kachigo and the minister, they are running to the committee. This is mobocracy. We really need to look organized as a country. We are a good country, a rich country, wealthy country. We need a leadership that is sober-minded, that is organized, that is thoughtful, not this kind of mobocracy that we are seeing.
Thank you, Mr. Godbert Mushabe. Thank you, Dr. Tweheyo. Thank you, Mr. Job Kija and Honorable Gilbert Olanya. We've come to the end of Spectrum today. We are looking at the developments on the Protection of Sovereignty Bill. Parliament will be sitting tomorrow to give it the final, probably, round. We'll wait to see what comes out. Soul Train is coming on next with Bibi, and then Rhythm of the Night later. My name is Jude Bukenya. Thank you.